All right, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, citizens of YouTube. This is Pastor Dow. I want to go ahead and answer this question because it come back up in mind. As a matter of fact, it came up when I was having a conversation, but it comes up in mind. Now, a lot of times people, they ask me questions simply because they do not know the answers, nor has anyone ever expressed to them the answers. And it's things that people simply want to know. Now, understand this. When I give you answers, they come from a biblical perspective. Now, whether you believe that biblical perspective or not, that's your prerogative. You can do what you want to do, believe what you want to believe. But yet, if you choose to apply the principles as I am teaching them from the scriptures, you will be, which I am sure, blessed by them. Now, the question of the hour is do you tell or don't you tell? Which one? Which one is it? Do you tell or don't you tell? And many times we're faced with situations where friends may hear an enemy say certain things. For instance, let me give you two scenarios here. Number one, you may overhear somebody wanting to do bodily harm to themselves or someone. They want to kill themselves. Okay? And they'll tell you, don't tell nobody. Well, do you tell or don't you tell someone? And then you'll have some people that you will hear that wants to actually do some type of spiritual harm someone, or be oppressive or depressive to someone. Do you tell or don't you tell? Well, let me use a biblical example right here to answer this question. Saul, the King Saul, the first king of Israel, had a son by the name of Jonathan. And of course, we know we always using the English terms and names for him, okay, just for understanding. But he had a son named Jonathan. And Jonathan was also the best friend of David. And Saul hated David. Listen to these are keys. And Saul hated David. All right? And so Saul had put out the edict that he wants to kill David. So Jonathan sitting right there. I mean, after all, you would think that this son, he loves his father, and he does. He wouldn't go out and rat out his father to his enemy, David, would you? But it just happened to be his friend at that time. You know what I mean? So what do you do? We're talking about in Israel. This is all in Israel. In Israel, okay? What do you do? So Jonathan, when he heard that his father had a death wish out for David, Jonathan went and told David about his father's plans to kill him. Now, we do know that hatred today is murder. Because you have hatred in your heart, you've already murdered. And that's what we're dealing with today, because people are just really not running around killing folks today, perpetuating evils on them in Israel. They mostly do it through the tongue. And so Jonathan went and told David that his father's intent to kill him, and Jonathan gave him direction of the time frame and when he needs to go ahead and make moves to get out of here. Now, did Jonathan do right? Yes, he did. Why? Because in Israel, the Torah commandment is to preserve life. And if you can preserve life that way, then you should do it. In contrast, today, there's nobody that's trying to preserve life. See, well, look, 1 minute we're in Tennessee, now we're back out of Tennessee, we're going back into Georgia. I wonder if I'm going the wrong way. But anyway, so think about this for a second. Today we have issues, troubles, and problems with people today. They don't know when to speak, when not to speak. What do you tell and don't tell? And you sit and watch people get injured. You sit and watch people be hurt. You sit and watch a lot of people who are never intended to get caught in a crossfire and receive wounds from a lot of these modern day murderers of the tongues and stuff. People who come to you and say they love you, they're your friend, all of this stuff. And yet and still, when they hear the enemy wanting to do harm to you, they do not know how to play both sides of the fence because they have no honor and integrity in their heart, when they should be just go ahead and doing what Jesus had already told us to do. If somebody has an altar against their brother, go tell them. In Jonathan's statement, you know, deal right here, he loved David, but he loved his father too. Remember, because Jonathan died by his father's side. But yet at the same time, he knew his father was wrong. Who's going to tell you when you're wrong? Huh? Who's going to do it? And are you going to accept it? Or are you just going to continue to go on with the murderers that seem to be working today? Well, the majority of the people, since they do not know the Bible, they ignore the scriptures, they usually side with the murderers. We have people falling out of friendships and stuff because you have somebody want to kill themselves. Then the friend goes and tells somebody else that, hey, I heard my friend say they want to kill themselves. That's something very important. It needs to be exposed. It needs to be told, because that is no light thing for somebody wanting to take their soul and go off into eternity. It's just a twist, warped, distorted mindset that we're faced with today. The people, they just don't know. They don't know, and even when they find out, they don't even want to know. It's just a sad situation. So yes, Jonathan did right by telling David that his father wanted to kill him. He just flat out did right. Now, I believe the Bible. That's my personal perspective, because I believe that the Bible is true, and I believe that all these men's lifestyles are put on display for us to learn something. Number one, for us to how to respond and react and behave today. And number two, it tells you who's a true friend and who's not a true friend. And that is the truth, and that's the truth straight away. Anyway, hope you learned something. Let me get on back here paying attention to this road. Shalom.